Welcome to No Broken Legs. I am your host, Evan Belfiore. Joining me in-house on a snowy Friday night in Cleveland is Jimmy Champ. Jimmy, thanks for making the drive up here, man. It's good to see you.
Yes, man. We got to do the first week of the playoffs in person. My 17-year-old son found out tonight that if you lock your keys in your trunk, it doesn't unlock the doors when you open the trunk of your car because he's got an older car. Ooh. Found that out tonight, so it was nice and cold getting that taken care of.
Well, I've been there.
Yeah, we all have. So I told him, I said, well, you don't know what you don't know, so now you know. Don't do it again.
Yeah, there you go. So with the Cleveland Browns out of the playoffs, we obviously will be focusing less on them. If any news comes up, we will obviously be covering it. But it's playoff weekend, Jimmy, and the first matchup, this line really jumped off the page at me. Las Vegas Raiders are going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are 5.5-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. This seems like an awfully big spread.
Yeah, I like the Raiders to cover here. The Bengals as a franchise haven't won a playoff game since before text messaging became a thing. So they may find a way to win this game. But I don't think they can beat a team in the playoffs by 6 points. I really don't. I think the Raiders can cover this line.
I think the Raiders will be able to move the ball enough on Cincinnati to keep this close. And I also think they've done a really good job the last couple of weeks controlling the line of scrimmage. And if they can play well up front like that. But what does worry me about Las Vegas is they have an interim coach. Maybe they're playing for his job. Maybe they're not. Does Carr think he's playing for his job? Do you think that's how he feels here? I mean, if he loses this playoff game, he's going to lose a lot of luster.
Yeah, but I think Derek Carr always thinks the Raiders are good. I think he's just one of those guys. He thinks he should be able to win with who he's got. I think he's just excited to play in a playoff game. But I do agree it's going to hurt whatever the Derek Carr legacy is right now for the Raiders. It's going to hurt it with this team if you lose this playoff game. Because, I really like to kind of piggyback on what you said. I really agree with it. I think the Chargers in just about every way on offense, in my opinion, are still better than the Bengals. And the game plan the Raiders had against the Chargers should translate to the Bengals. Now, Burrow can do what Herbert can do to a point. I think Herbert's a little bit better. But Burrow could go magic like Herbert did. But I think there's a better chance of them just being able to bottle up the offense. I don't think that the Bengals will be able to run the ball enough to sustain a drive. Because if the Raiders know you're passing, they're going to blitz. Max Crosby's coming. And they're not going to expose Joe Burrow to that in a playoff game. So I think they're going to play a little too conservative. And I think the Raiders are going to at least cover. I'm not brave enough to bet the money line. I love it, but I'm just not brave enough to do it.
It's pretty juicy at plus 190, but you would like that to be closer to 250.
Yeah, but at plus 190, it's still pretty juicy, but I'm staying off the money line. But I like the under, and I like the Raiders to cover.
I'm taking Vegas in this game. I want no part of betting the spread on this. Both of these teams, everything's in play here. This could be either team could blow out the other. It could be a nail biter.
Yep.
One team could start hot and then fade late with the other catching up the way these offenses are. I do disagree with you on the over-under. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I think they may start out a little slow, but these are the playoffs, and
you think they'll get going?
Cincinnati's already shown you that if it has to just be Joe Burrow throwing it to Jamar Chase, well, we'll just do that.
Well, we'll see how that works against a big boy defense.
Well, you know what though? It'll be fun to watch it happen.
It'll be fun to watch him try. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There are plenty of Browns fans now supporting the Bengals. Screw you, screw the Bengals. I don't want to see the Bengals win a playoff game.
Yeah, fuck that.
I like that the Bengals don't win playoff games.
I like seeing those graphics.
You know what we needed? No, you know what? It'd be like poetic justice. Max Crosby needs to have a pick six like J.J. Watt did. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen to the Bengals. this needs to be the new Bengals that still can't win playoff games. That's what I like.
I love that meme that was going around that had the Bengals on like the far left all by themselves on the time since won a playoff game, and it was it was so comforting to see our Cleveland Browns just, tucked comfortably in the pack with last year as their last playoff appearance. And that'll change next year when they go back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I will say if the game gets close, I would imagine the Raiders' confidence in their kicker right now is at like 110% as he's made some big kicks down the stretch. So look for that to play a part in the game too.
I am somewhat concerned about how Vegas will respond to the cold. It is pretty cold here, and that'll play a bigger part in the next game we're going to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this just seems to me to be one of those games that probably comes down to the wire. Neither one of these teams have ever been able to put anybody away. They always seem to let their opponents hang around. So I'll take Vegas. Probably it's a field goal game. This will... Hey, man, if Joe Burrow can get a playoff win here...
So it would be a big start for him.
That would be a really big start for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our next matchup is going to be a replay of basically the Ice Bowl because they're calling for single-digit temperatures in Buffalo. The New England Patriots are 4.5-point underdogs to the Buffalo Bills, which is a weird sentence to say after the last 20 years. The over-under on this game is 44. It's going to be just hellaciously cold. Jimmy, how much do you think the weather plays into this game and into this 4.5-point spread?
Well, I think it plays into it, but I just think personally, I still think it plays into Buffalo's hands right now because pretty much since this New England game, Buffalo realized they can scheme runs for Josh Allen. They've really been utilizing his legs. He's the best running back they have, and he's also a quarterback who's a little more accurate than Lamar Jackson. So, I think that's big for their team. They really found themselves after the two moral victories. Shame on us. We hammered them here at the No Broken Legs. There's no moral victories at the No Broken Legs podcast. But we hammered them, but they've responded from it, and their offense found themselves, and they're playing really well. And I think the Patriots' defense is worn down. I think they've been on the field a ton. They've been up against it a lot. It kind of seemed like they broke last week. And I really...
Well, when your quarterback comes out and throws a pick six on the first pass play and it's 14-0, just like that, that can be discouraging.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, it's weird to me to be picking against Belichick. It is weird.
Yeah, it's going to be super cold. Mac Jones is from the South, and as two born and bred Northerners who have seen a great deal of Southerners have to deal with cold. I just don't. This probably will play out. I wouldn't be surprised if it was very similar to the first meeting where Belichick only has him throw maybe a dozen passes in this game.
Yeah, but I don't think their defense can hold Buffalo's offense to that again.
You've convinced me. Changing my pick. I'm picking against Bill Belichick in a playoff game, Jimmy. You've convinced me.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of weeks have really shown that when they run Allen, he can be their running game.
Yeah.
And do you think that was something that Daboll's just sort of been keeping in the back pocket, that it's like, okay, we'll use this later in the season, but let's try and save some hits on him? Could that explain their hiccups throughout the season offensively?
I mean, it's possible. Maybe just like we thought maybe Stefanski overvalued Baker just dropping back and passing. Maybe the same thing happened in Buffalo. Maybe Brian Daboll wanted to expand the offense into more downfield passing, thought Josh would be good with that. There's no real signs Josh is good with that. So I think the offense has evolved over these last 3 or 4 games. They've looked really good. It's so crazy to say because New England's defense was playing so well early in the season, but they don't have it doesn't look like they have the pop off the line of scrimmage like they did. They look like they're beat down, but how many 3 and outs has Mac Jones given up? I was going to
say that's the difference. They haven't been able to run the ball as effectively, they're on the field longer.
Yeah, the only way the Bills can win this game or lose this game would be if Belichick can somehow scheme Josh Allen out of running the football. And even if they do that, though, I think they're still going to score points. And I think this defense cannot believe the way the media treated them after playing a hell of a game where one busted play determined the game, and they really got beat up for it. And they're like, man, you go out there and play against the run 57 damn times and tell me how easy it is to not let one bust. Like, I think this defense is going to be pissed off. And then I also think it doesn't necessarily play into the outcome, but narrative-wise, I think the Bills have to win this game too.
Oh, I think everybody knows exactly what you're talking about there. Because if you can't beat New England this year,
when are you going to be able to beat them?
We're not big Mac Jones fans, but
No.
I mean, he's a rookie, but we expect him to be
We
better next
expect
year
him
and
to
the
get
year
better.
after than he is
Yep.
this year. I mean,
Yep.
because I don't know what they can really do to improve that team, especially after they went out and got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's you make a push to get a top running back.
They need a
but
running back.
I don't. Brian Daboll threw the ball too damn much when he coached here in Cleveland.
You ain't wrong.
So I just, running the ball is not just scheme. You have to
Yep.
want to run the football. You've got to have your offensive linemen in the mindset of we're gonna move this motherfucker over here, and it just doesn't seem like his teams have that.
Yeah.
Which is how they can get around it by running Josh Allen, because they can just make it look like a pass play, and then all of a sudden it's a run play. And Belichick has had problems with mobile quarterbacks in the past.
Yeah, but it's that thing too where it's like the Patriots have been so good. Bill Belichick has been so good at playing dynamic offenses. It looked like they were going to be the start of a dynasty and just cutting them down before they really got started. He did it over and over again. I mean,
That's why I was originally picking the Patriots.
yeah, they just like it. But I feel like the defense is still going to play like that, but the offense is so bad, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, and that Buffalo defense is pretty good. Pat McAfee's show said that there were cheap tickets to be had for this game, which is I'm surprised by that. But we'll see what the crowd looks like.
Yeah.
I bet they're packed to the gills come game time. I'd be shocked if they weren't.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Our next matchup is the 1:00 Sunday game. This is the Philadelphia Eagles, a pretty unlikely playoff team at 9-8, traveling south to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the boys are 8.5-point favorites. The over/under sits at 45.5. Is this how Tom Brady's Super Bowl defense ends, to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? I can't believe that is even remotely possible.
Can you look up what the Eagles win total was? What we picked on for over under?
Oh yeah.
And I agree with you. Oh man, I do think the Eagles cover this line,
They were 6.5.
and I took the under,
Yeah, I took the under too. I thought they were going to be bad.
and they got to 9, dude. Wow. But we didn't think the Giants or Washington were going to be so bad, so I guess that's where it flipped. This is going to be a weird game, okay? Because the Bucs offense is so beat up. I think they're going to score enough to win, but I do think the Eagles are going to backdoor cover. It's going to be weird because the Eagles are going to try to establish the run. The one thing that the Buccaneers defend well is the run. Then Jalen Hurts starts scrambling around and doing crazy shit, and sometimes they move the ball like that. Like, I don't think they can win. I don't think Brady's going to lose this game, but I think it's going to be close. Like, Gronk and Scotty Miller are probably going to be huge offensive weapons in this game. If you're playing any weekly playoff DFS, that's probably where there's just going to be a ton of targets to go there. The Buccaneers are just so beat up, man. They're so beat up, and they're in this spot. I just don't think Philly's got enough wide receiver. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to score enough points. It's going to be weird seeing the battle between them trying to establish the run and Tampa. They've been ran on a little bit the last couple weeks, but to see if Tampa can still shut that down and say, no, Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to drop back and just throw the football to beat us. Can you do it?
Yeah, and I think the answer to that question is no. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I don't think this is like an outright blowout, but they're going to beat them by 2 scores.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to beat them by 2 scores. This just has the...
Here we go. Disagree. Our first playoff disagreement.
I haven't liked Philly all year.
You have not.
And if they're going to try and run into that defense, I don't see how Philly's going to be able to sustain drives. They might be able to put together one or two decent drives, but I don't know how they're going to put enough drives together to keep it close, because this is the playoffs. If Brady's got to make those 4 passes to Gronk, he's going to make those 4 passes to Gronk because he does it all the fucking time.
Yep.
So is he going to be able to do that against Philadelphia? Of course he is.
Okay.
So I think that's what's going to happen.
I
think they move the ball pretty easily up and down the field on Philly, and they just sort of overwhelm.
I
think they just overwhelm them.
I hope you're right and I'm wrong, because I'm ready for the mind gasms of Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in an NFC playoff game. I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's all I want to happen. Like, Kevin Wildes will need his own 4-hour show. It'll be nuts.
Oh, man. Next up, Sunday afternoon, we have San Francisco traveling to Dallas. These teams used to play in the playoffs all the fucking time when we were younger, and here they are again. San Francisco 10-7, Dallas 12-5. The Cowboys getting only the gentleman's home 3 as favorites. The over-under sits at 50.5. Everybody is on San Francisco in this game, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that everybody's all over it, and I think exactly the same way they do. That they can just bully Dallas and Mike McCarthy. Well, we're more on the Mike McCarthy's going to fuck something up side of this. So I guess the question is, what thing do you think Mike McCarthy fucks up?
Well, I think it's the double-edged sword, because I think, you were heading there first. It's just the players on the field. Dallas has looked average at best against playoff caliber teams this year. They have profited from a very weak schedule. They haven't been able to figure out to just leave Tony Pollard on the field. Dak's getting kind of locked in on wide receivers. He's not spreading the ball around. Against good defenses, they haven't looked great. Against bad defenses, they've looked really, really good. I think San Francisco wins this football game. I think San Francisco, after what they did last week, they absolutely found what they're going to be. And I think they're just going to run the heck out of this football, and I don't think Dallas can stop it. And then on the other side, I'm going to jump, and then we'll jump back. I tried to figure out how to put this into words, and I struggled with it. One of the guys at CBSSports.com nailed it. He says, one team has a dominant run game that manages the clock. The other has a head coach that struggles with clock management. That's the difference in this football game. I couldn't figure out how to say it, and he said it right, but that's why he gets paid to do it. But that's what it's going to be. I'm not the biggest Kyle Shanahan fan. I think Kyle Shanahan's 20 times the head coach of Mike McCarthy. And clock management is going to come into question in this game, and we know that Mike McCarthy's going to lose, whatever it is.
The year they made the Super Bowl, they had a game where, Jimmy G threw 8 passes?
Yeah.
I feel like the game plan for San Francisco is going to be very similar to the game plan for New England. Grind clock, play defense, and that front four of San Francisco has really been rounding into shape.
Yep.
You can already see how this game's playing out, where you're halfway through the second quarter going, man, Dak's running around a lot.
Yeah. What do you think about the over/under?
I think it's going to go under.
It seems too easy to take the over there, right? At 50?
I think it's going to go super under, because I think San Francisco is going to run the ball so much.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to try and pound it and pound it and make sure Jimmy doesn't do anything stupid to fuck it up.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I like the under.
And even when Dallas gets throwing the ball, when they're coming from behind, they're throwing a lot of 5 to 15 yard passes. Yep. And it's like a 12 to 15 yard drive that takes up 3.5 minutes. that still grinds clock.
Yeah,
too.
Dak's decision making has been suspect as of late. So I think these quarterbacks are definitely going to share interceptions. If you can find player props on interceptions thrown, I would take an over if it was 1.5.
Yeah. And if Dallas loses this game, it's going to be a wild off season for them, because it's the press. They win a playoff game,
dude. The Dallas media is not ready to lose playoff games to San Francisco again.
Too many old wounds there.
It's the same 10 old dudes covering it all, so it's fine. Like, they're like, not this again, damn.
Sort of another old school throwback game is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, let's talk about this one.
Traveling to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a 12.5 point spread. People were laughing earlier in the week. Nick Wright called this better than the bye, which was very ostentatious. Over-unders at 46. I'm taking Kansas City. I think they put their fucking foot down.
Let's go.
I think they fucking rout Pittsburgh and they send Big Ben packing in tears yet again.
Wow. Yeah, we're in sync here. The Steelers are playing in a game they don't deserve to play in, and they're going to get boat raced by the Chiefs. Like, that's it. As long as this line was under 14.5, I was taking the Chiefs. I like the under too because I don't think the Steelers are going to score very many points.
I think they put up something in the second half. That's been their MO all year. Even like Roethlisberger seems to just be able to put up 10 points in the fourth quarter at will. As frustrating as it is to admit that.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like the over, but
really?
I love Kansas City with the 12.5. And I think Kansas City is going to beat them by maybe more than 3 scores.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking to whatever player props you can find. Take overs on Mahomes, yards and touchdowns. Take over on Kelsey yards. Probably take over on Tyreek Hill touchdowns.
Yeah, we saw this game.
Tyreek's going to run right by Joe Hayden a couple of times.
We saw this game a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right. I do think you'll definitely see a concerted effort to not let TJ Watt get to the quarterback. I think you'll see double blocks there all game long.
Yeah, and Kelsey will give him chips and stuff like that. He's not afraid of that.
Yeah. I think Steelers fans are going to act shocked when they lose this game like this. And it's just going to make me laugh because this team, I don't know, Ryan Tannehill 3 weeks ago had to have the biggest brain fart on the face of the earth to let all this nonsense happen. But it's going to be worth it watching Patrick Mahomes just beat the shit out of Ben Roethlisberger for an hour.
But, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. But you know what? Here they are again. And everybody in Pittsburgh has wanted to fire Mike Tomlin the last, 5 years, it feels like. And I just... goddamn, that dude can coach.
Kudos for what he did coaching in the Browns games this year. I mean, both those games, you had great game plans you executed. And that's what they're going to try to do against the Chiefs, but it ain't going to work.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to leave too many people on Watt on an island. They're going to hit him. They're going to make sure he's not getting to the quarterback.
Yep.
I'm curious how much we're going to disagree on this this Arizona Los Angeles game.
I'm jumping on a soapbox on this one, bud.
The Arizona Cardinals are 4-point underdogs on the road to your Los Angeles Rams. The over-under is 49.5. Whew. It just seems like one of those, the immovable object versus the unstoppable force, and it's the late season swoons of Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury versus Matt Stafford's
horrible. No, stop
horrible interceptions in big games.
Don't talk about my boy like that.
You gave Stafford your promo last week. Your pick. It seems like you're going to pick him. So defend your boy.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. So we told you take the Rams to win the NFC West. That hit. We told you take the Rams to go to the NFC Championship game, so the Cardinals are just in their way, and here he comes. No, I'm very interested. I think of all the quarterbacks in the playoffs this year, except for maybe Burrow because he's starting to build his legacy, I think the quarterback this first week means the most too is Matt Stafford. Yeah, he's played in 3 playoff games. He should have won 2 of them. Got blown out in his last one. I don't know if you remember, they gave up 21 points to the Saints to lose 45-28. He played pretty well in that game. Got beat by the Cowboys on a bogus pass interference call that didn't it. Oh man,
it's amazing.
But the last time he was in the playoffs, he got destroyed by the Seahawks.
It's amazing how many NFC playoff games over the last 6 years have ended with the phrase, "Oh, that horrible pass interference call."
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It seems to permeate in the NFC more than the AFC. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, dude, I'm absolutely taking the Rams here. I think the Cardinals have fallen off. I think even with J.J. Watt coming back, I don't think they're going to be able to slow down this Rams offense that looked really good against a great San Francisco defense at times. But then they just felt the need to stop throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp. I don't know what that was about. And my boy's got to start making better decisions, man. I would like to stop seeing him throw interceptions where there's also someone running wide open underneath. Like, oh, it's frustrating. But he's going to get his shit together, and they're going to beat the Cardinals.
8 interceptions over the last 4 games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just not good. I'm going to take the Cardinals because I think this is a field goal game. I think this is a game that comes down to the last play. I think the 49.5. I love the over. I think it's going to be a lot of points. I actually wouldn't be surprised if both of them get to 30 or 31-28. I think is definitely in play. It's just I don't trust Stafford in a big game until he stops throwing picks, and I don't trust Kyler in Kingsbury until they win big games late in the season. So something's got to give. When in doubt, take the points. So I'm going to take the points with Arizona. Man, this game should be really fun to watch because they really know each other. There's no real secrets here. And the biggest X factor, I guess, is going to be how well can the Rams contain Kyler Murray? Because if he can start scrambling around, like we mentioned before, I don't think Hurts can do it against Tampa Bay, but I think Kyler Murray's better than Jalen Hurts. So
yeah, absolutely. So it's funny. So we were talking before we got on air. Last year, the road teams did pretty well. First round, what did we take? You like Arizona. I like San Francisco.
I took 3.
So that's 2.
Yeah, I took 3. You talked me out of. I was going to take New England as a 4th.
Wow, that would be wild.
4, but you talked me out of it with.
But even taking the 3,
Josh Allen,
like that's it'd be funny. It'd be funny to see how that trends.
That was something.
If it trends 2 years in a row, it'd definitely be something.
Thanks for reminding me about that because
yeah, for sure.
We were talking that Stafford's out there trying to run the 2-minute offense, and that place is fucking loud as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it'd be the same. I mean, San Francisco had a home crowd there. You'd imagine Arizona will as well. They really like this team. I think if DeAndre Hopkins was healthy, that may swing me a little bit, but I just don't think the Cardinals have the firepower. I think the Rams are going to score points. Stafford's going to throw interceptions and touchdowns. I would say if you can find player props, I would take at 2.5. I'd take the over on both.
I think OBJ is actually going to catch a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I mean he should. He gets enough chances.
He's going to catch kind of a touchdown that everybody says is like awesome, and OBJ's back, but it's going to be just like most of his touchdowns have been, where they run a pick play for him, and all he's got to do is run. Well, I don't know though. I mean, we know what Sean McVay's memory is, and the last 3 balls that the Rams threw to OBJ last week were all really poor plays. So, well, the last interception wasn't OBJ's fault. He was open. That Stafford throw was horrendously.
Yeah, well, that was. Oof. Yeah, it's okay. It was bad. It's fine. It's fine.
It's something with OBJ. It's just quarterbacks don't seem to be able to get on the same page as him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I mean,
well, it's not very weird. We've kind of seen that with him for most of his career.
Yeah. It's just weird to me. Like, you normally guys that had what Odell had, like, they're gonna lose a step but keep their hands, but his hands are kind of slipping on him.
And he's just like nice 4th down catch.
He did, but
that was his 3rd opportunity at a 4th down catch, and he's 1 for 3 now. So yeah, I'm glad that he did that.
But still, I mean, there was another play where either him or Cooper Kupp ran the wrong route. Hard for me to believe it was Cooper Kupp. So I'm pretty sure OBJ was supposed to clear out. Instead, he ran the exact same dig route. Yeah. Stuck his hand out. Cooper Kupp would have had a 1st down instead it's incompletion. So I don't know.
Can see he's usually their 3rd option.
Well, yeah, I mean Van Jefferson's really good too.
Higbee gets a lot of run.
Yeah, Higbee gets run. Van Jefferson's really good. So, but yeah,
a lot of firepower in that game.
Yeah,
That's just going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
It's the first Monday night playoff game.
Yep.
As the NFL just continues to take over days
Yeah,
of the week.
I would have rather had 3 Saturday games.
Yeah, I agree. I like
preference.
the 2 days, just 2 full days of football.
Yep.
Now it's Monday night, like ugh.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna be so late, these Monday night games for us East Coasters.
It sure is.
But we survive.
Yeah.
Turning now to some other news in the NFL as we wrap NFL wild. What do they call this now? It's not wild card weekend anymore.
Super wild card weekend.
Fuck you. That is not what they call it.
That is what they're calling it.
That is the laziest thing to call it.
No, I don't disagree with you, but that's what they're calling it.
The NFL makes billions of dollars, and the best they can come up with is Super Wild Card Weekend. God damn it.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. 2 more coaches have since been fired. It looked like Joe Judge was going to be safe, and then New York came to their senses, probably because no GMs wanted to return their calls.
No, I mean, Joe Judge was just very weird. Yeah, we were very critical of the hiring. It didn't seem to make sense. Here in the last month, he's given some of the most wild off-the-cuff promo shoots in a football interview that makes the No Broken Legs podcast proud. But yeah, Judge had to go. It had to happen. Like, there's no defense. Like, there was no offensive player on that team that was going to come back from the shenanigans he pulled towards the end of that half. Where on 2nd and 3rd and 9,
that's crazy.
You run a QB sneak to give your punter more room instead of trying to get yards. The season is over. The season is lost. Try to figure something out for next year. Run some fucking plays. What are you doing?
You know where we used to see that?
Yeah, I sure do.
All the fucking time.
All the time. We need to get the punter more room.
And it ain't here anymore. You know why?
Why's that?
They're just mediocre.
There it is.
They're not bad. They're not a clown show. They're just mediocre.
Yeah,
the Giants are a fucking clown show.
Like, that was disgusting. Like, I mean, to me, like, the Giants were the worst team in football this year. I don't care what the schedule is. Like, I saw all the other teams at the bottom play hard at times during the season. The Giants suck.
Yeah, and they're expensive and suck.
Yeah.
They got no cap room.
Yeah, boy, Saquon, how about, I mean, what is that? Whew.
Don't overdraft running backs. Are we done with this now?
Yeah.
Are we done with this overdrafting running backs thing? Is he going to be the last one?
Well, for a little while he will be. And then people will go, no, that's not still a thing.
And then they'll say, no, we got to take this guy. He's the one. And it's like, yeah, but there's like 4 guys that were taken in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds last year that are just as good as him.
Yep, you are not wrong.
I feel like that's where wide receivers are going now, too.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans are also in the market for a new coach. What's going on there?
Well, this is what I'll say. I've thought about this a lot today. First off, David Culley did not deserve to get fired.
No, terrible situation, awful roster. This is another situation that reminds me of Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I do think he definitely think he benefited from having Lovie Smith on the coaching staff. And I guess Lovie was a real galvanizing unit during COVID. Like, he was very galvanizing for the team. He brought everybody together. They won a couple games where we thought, like that Jaguars game to start the season, we couldn't believe what the money line was on that game. Like this team looks like they've got some little bit together. Davis Mills played okay. You got about the most out of Rex Burkhead I've ever seen, and you get fired.
And he was kind enough to only win 4 games to let my under 4.5 hit.
Yes. So I lost. No, I think I took that over because I thought they'd get to 5 or 6.
But he just reminded me of any of the coaches we had here in Cleveland.
You just couldn't give him a chance.
It's just was that guy a good coach?
No.
Like, I don't know. He had a shit situation. His guys mostly played hard for him. He made some boneheaded decisions, but he's a first-year coach. In a shit situation, what do you expect?
So while it sucks for David Culley, my thoughts are, and I don't know, we try to not like narratives and not follow them, but they are what they are. Brian Flores coached at New England forever. Houston's front office is overrun by expatriates. Is it possible Is it possible right after what went down in Miami, somebody sends a text message? No. Maybe a phone call is made. Maybe they've already got Brian Flores on the line to come in. We saw reports about maybe it was actually Flores that wanted Deshaun.
Yeah, that was.
So
was that Florio? Yeah, it was one of the.
Yeah.
One of the beat reporters that said he was really pushing for them to get Watson. He doesn't believe in Tua. He didn't like Tua. He felt like that team with a real quarterback could really do something.
Yep.
So maybe that was the disconnect. I don't know, but because everybody's tying Harbaugh to Miami, but that just doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Like it just doesn't. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But why do all these people with Michigan ties love Harbaugh and think he's a great coach? I don't know.
But we do this every single year.
Almost
every year since Harbaugh went to Michigan, we've done this off-season dance of Harbaugh's tied to this team and blah 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 blah. And he's leaving Michigan. He's been leaving Michigan since the day he signed his contract.
No, I think there might actually be a clause in the contract that says he has to beat the Buckeyes 3 out of 4 years before he's allowed to leave. He has to stay.
Well, then he's never leaving.
Exactly.
It's never happening.
So it works out perfect for the Buckeyes and for Harbaugh's legacy because I'm not sure he could just come back in and coach in the NFL.
Yeah, ask John Gruden how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. I do think for the Texans, if you could upgrade from Culley to Flores, I understand it. I get it.
Is there
it sucks
any
for Culley,
way
but
they can move forward with Watson as their quarterback?
I don't know. Right, that scenario has never really been talked about.
I mean,
but what if they go to Deshaun? What if they go to Deshaun and say, dude, like, we think you're a worth 3 first-round draft pick talent. Nobody will offer us that. You've still got 2 years on this contract. Do you want to sit for another 2 years or you want to play? It's up to you. Like, they may very well be to that point.
But even as a team, they could spin the PR to say, oh, look, we suspended him for a year.
Yeah. Yep.
We suspended him for a year. Everything's been, we assume everything will get taken care of over the summer, but I don't know if that might happen.
I think it's clear that over the past 2 years, the Houston Texans PR department is not that smart.
That's bad because that's like
I
101 right there.
Well, I don't
That's
disagree with you, but I mean, think of the way they've handled everything. So I don't see that happening.
I think that's how this winds up going. I think the Watson stuff gets reconciled in some capacity over the summer. And
I think also
with the legal stuff taken care of, everybody's going to look to the NFL and say, are you going to punish him? And the NFL is going to say, look, we like to leave that stuff to the teams whenever possible. And they're going to just let that shitball roll downhill. And Houston's just going to say, look, we suspended him for a year.
Yeah.
He was suspended for a year.
That would be shitty, and it's really plausible, and maybe that's just what it is.
Makes me sick that's probably what's going to happen.
That's fair. Yeah.
I do want to mention something real quick with the Browns. It sounded to me like Jarvis Landry is no longer going to be a Cleveland Brown. The way they talked about him in the Barry press conference reminded me a lot of how they talked about Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we've been hitting on it. You brought it up first. You've been hitting on it for damn near months. I mean, it's almost the cap room saved is necessary. Like, if you have to let Jarvis go to be able to re-sign like Tacky and Clowney, then you have to do it.
Oh yeah, that's
it's not. You have to do it, and I hope Jarvis can get on somewhere. Like these last 2 years sucked. He went through a couple good years, and these last 2 years sucked. And I wish him the best. But I think what's best for the Browns is to use that $14 million somewhere else.
Yeah, now we just got to figure out what to do with fucking Hooper's contract.
Yeah, there's nothing. I don't know. There's nothing that can be done. No, just keep playing 3 tight ends. Or maybe go to a 4 tight end set because I'm sure you can find a 3rd tight end that can be as productive as Austin Hooper.
I don't know. Either Hooper's one hell of a blocker or he's ripping the Cleveland Browns off.
One of those two things has to be true.
Much
you're right.
more on the latter than the former.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We'll have we'll be recapping what we see over the weekend on Tuesday. Wow, we'll have to push it back because of the Monday night game.
Yep.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
It'll be a fun weekend. We'll be watching. I'm sure you'll all be watching. Jimmy, thanks for making the trip up.
No place I'd rather be, brother. And also just want to say, thank you to everybody out there that's tuned in for our regular season No Broken Legs episodes. And hopefully you'll follow us and keep up with us in the playoffs. We'll roll into basketball here shortly.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely have to. We'll have Brandon on. He's been following the games.
So we'll get into basketball shortly. So
here's a preview. He's not thrilled with his Knicks.
No, that's for sure. but definitely, man. Please just thank you for listening and keep on listening and tell 5 other people to listen and No Broken Legs will be good.
All right. And I would like to thank you all for listening. For Jimmy Champ, I'm Evan Belfiore, and we are No Broken Legs.